Hi, and welcome to another video for Aperture Speaks. And this week, actually, we're going to do things very differently. First of all, we're going to be talking about the Photoshop CC. I know it's been a week since the release of the information about this new cloud-based Photoshop Adobe package thing. And the other thing we're going to do is not actually have a look at me instead of looking at my workflow. And to start off with, I just want to say why I'm doing this video a week after the announcement, and it was about a week ago. It was on Monday evening, or in my time it was Tuesday morning. And the reason I'm doing it now is because it's actually good to sort of wait just to see what happened. I know straight after the announcement there was a lot of things going on Twitter and on Facebook, and a lot of people writing stuff and posting stuff, which some of it was right, some of it was wrong, and I really don't want to jump on board straight away. I know I made a post straight away where I wasn't really too happy about the change to subscription, but I didn't really talk about anything else because I really wanted to really see it and actually read what there is. I'm not gonna. I know there's like a whole group of haters out there about this new thing and saying that Adobe is this big, greedy, conglomerate, multinational company who is out to destroy the world and destroy photography. This, for me, is not necessarily true. I actually understand why they have done what they've done. What they have done is they have taken the entire Creative Suite as it was, and they've put it together as one package. But you can pay a monthly subscription of $50, and in doing this you get access to all the programs, which, you know, it does sound quite appealing at first for me. They also have done that you can buy, or subscribe to individual programs, and in individual programs what you can do is you can pay, I think it's at the beginning they're saying it's only $10 if you have a version of CS3 up, or you can pay 30, which will be the normal, no, 20, sorry, 20 for the normal price, which does sound also, you know, quite appealing at first. I think I will probably start off with this because this is probably my biggest gripe, first of all, is that for some people the subscription model doesn't work. I think that's why a lot of people have got super annoyed, because, you know, because they're being asked to pay on a monthly fee. And actually, when some people sat down, they sort of worked it out. It has worked out to be slightly more expensive because they buy the upgrade package. Maybe they don't do this in every edition of Photoshop, which is obviously where most of the photographers are getting quite annoyed. And this is one of the big things that, you know, if you're only paying, you know, the $100, $200 for the upgrade package, why are you now going to pay the 20 or the 30? You know, it doesn't really make sense. I think that's probably the first thing that I would say, because by the end of the first year you've paid for your upgrade, but you may not upgrade every year. You may upgrade because Photoshop's on about every 2 years, so every 24 months they release a new version. So it doesn't really sort of make sense in that way. I think a lot of, for me, the biggest annoyance is that I have to buy this in euros. I live in Poland. Poland has the Polish zloty, and the conversion rate from zloty to euro is 4. It's 4 times roughly. So basically, if something is then going to cost 20 euros, I think it's going to be, then that's going to cost me way more, you know, a month. You're getting into the world of insanity for the amount of money, and I think that's one of the big issues that I have with it, is that the way that they are really affecting different people. If you're going to offer this as a cloud-based system, you need to be able to offer this so people can buy it all at a reasonably fair price. I can understand that there are differences in exchange rates, but if something is $10, that value of that $10, so for example, if it's 2 Happy Meals, for example, then that, you know, then it should be the similar price for like 2 Happy Meals in Poland, in Sweden, you know, in Timbuktu, wherever you are. It needs to be a similar amount of money in value, so everyone sort of is getting a fair deal. Obviously, the other thing I would like to say is that people are saying, "Oh, this will stop piracy." No, it won't. It just won't. Pirates are pirates. They will pirate whatever they want. They will pirate anything, basically. And it doesn't matter if you were to get offered this for free. Someone was, you know, with or even for one. Even if it was for $1, people would still pirate it. I think that's one of the funny things. It was the Radiohead album, in Rainbows, I think it was, where Radiohead said you can buy this for as little as you want. You say how much you want to pay for it, and you can buy it. And it actually ended up that people were pirating it because they didn't want to pay £1 for the album. So pirates will pirate, they'll pirate anything, and that's even Adobe said this doesn't solve piracy, because once somebody has downloaded a version of Photoshop CC, it can then be pirated. It's the exact same problems they've got at the moment. So it doesn't actually reduce piracy at all. There's two big things I want to sort of say. Also, people are saying, oh, well, once you save the files and you stop paying, you'll never get access to your files. That's actually incorrect. I would say the only thing which is slightly correct about that is if you do save your files in as TIFFs or PSDs and you have them as layers and as smart objects, you may not be able to do non-destructive editing backwards. You may not be able to go back into the file and edit again because it's already there. There are files that open PSDs, and there are programs that open PSDs, and there are programs with open TIFF files. Yeah, it's not going to be perfect, but you can open it. I think the other thing I will be saying that if you do stop paying, you still have your fallback, but you will still have CS6 because you'll have it on the perpetual license. And you won't have access to the added features. I think that's really what they're trying to say. But then my question is, what if someone buys into this without upgrading from one of their CS copies? That's then when there's the question of how much is this worth at the end of the day. I think personally that it would be better just to say, let's have two options. Let's have the perpetual license, let's have the subscription-based model, and run the two. And then it gives your customers choice. I'm all about choice. I don't like being told this is the way you can do it. Because I know when I can buy my camera on my credit card, I can buy my camera in cash, I can buy my camera on a loan from the shop. You know, there's like 3 different options there. Or I could steal the camera. But if I stole the camera, I would be arrested and sent to prison. So you have 3 different options for what you can do. So I think that's also some of the people's problem, that they feel like they're being forced into a specific way to spend their money. Let's talk about the things which are available with the new Photoshop CC. The first one is Smart Sharpen. They've upgraded Smart Sharpen. Fantastic. They're saying with Smart Sharpen, it basically will not sharpen noise. Well, okay, that's great. I think that's brilliant, but I generally do my noise reduction and then sharpen. Sharpening should always be your end piece. And also you sharpen for the size, for your output size as well. So yeah, it sounds great, but not for me. That's not really something for me. Intelligent upsampling. It's another one of those things that when I was originally being taught digital, when I was at university, you always were told never upsample. You never take your image and try and make it bigger than it really is. You start with your biggest size and then you downsample. So if you're going to be shooting for a bus, you don't take a picture on a 2 megapixel camera because you won't get the quality right for the bus. That's pretty much simple. I like the idea that you can do intelligent upsampling, but I don't really like the idea since it doesn't really work with a sort of digital workflow, in my opinion. Camera Raw 8 is going to have layer support as a filter. You can access raw editing from the filter menu. Okay. That doesn't really make too much sense to me. I thought originally when I read this, I was like, oh cool, in Camera Raw you're going to have layers. So you can add, you can do your sort of cool filters in Camera Raw. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I was like, oh, that's actually a lot like Lightroom. That was my second thought. But actually, you can go filter Adobe Camera Raw. Okay. I think, yes, for some digital artists, this may be quite a cool idea. You can duplicate a layer and go filter Camera Raw, and you can do these sort of changes in there. That's quite nice. I quite like that. But then again, you could just do duplicate into a new document, save document, open in Camera Raw, and then export it back in. It's a little bit more fiddly, but you can still do it now. I think they just streamlined it in a way. So there is a little bit of a workaround where you can do it apparently in the filter menu. Camera shape reduction. Okay, this is the sort of big thing that I remember seeing a lot of articles about, that they're going to get rid of camera shake. I think it's quite a cool idea, but I think this sort of goes against their sort of pricing strategy, in my opinion. Things like this camera shake filter, yeah, I think people will use this, and but I don't think it's really for the pro end. The pro end, although we all do get camera shake, I don't think they would use it as much as the sort of more amateur, casual, low, I'll say low enthusiast end of the market, which I feel have been priced out from Photoshop with this new CC. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is conditional actions. That's done quite nice as well. Conditional actions are, what are they? Routine processing jobs on autopilot. With conditional actions, these commands use if and then statements to automatically choose between different actions based on rules you set up. So it basically means that you can create an action and then you can put an if situation in the action, which is quite good for action scripting, I suppose, because if you want to create an action and it then goes background, you click on it and it's not background layer, it's something else, it can say duplicate background layer if it's the background, or put another condition in that it doesn't have to be the background, or if it's not the background, duplicate it. That could be something like it as well. Just to sort of bring it around, just to make a condition in there. That'd be quite good as well for action scripting. It makes action scripting a little bit more easier in a way. Expand the smart object support. I love smart objects. That'd be really, really nice. The blur gallery. Well, now then liquefy non-destructively. That's a great idea. I love the smart object. I love non-destructive editing. That to me does sound really, really appealing, and I do really, really like it. That's really it, really, for photography use. They say they got Photoshop Extended now bundled with Photoshop. If you're paying for CC, you better go get a Photoshop Extended. Editable round triangle rectangles. Okay, great. Multi-shape path selection, not something that I use too much. And improved 3D painting. For me, that I don't really need that. But it's nice to know that Photoshop is going out elsewhere, because it's the idea this is an image editor. So there are 3D artists, there are graphic artists who do use this as well. I mean, the other thing, you are bundled then also with Illustrator, which is quite good, InDesign, Premiere, and those applications are good. Obviously, Lightroom is still being sold separately. Actually, all of them are still being sold separately for the minute. You can still buy CS6. You just download it. And I know some people made a big fuss about this, and I was just like, they've been doing this for the last 2 editions. So really, there's no big problem about it. Some people like physical CDs, some people don't. When you download it, you can just download and keep the original download file and burn that onto CD if you want to have it on CD. Not a big deal. I don't really see too much of a problem about it. They also say this also deals with keeping track of all your key your license keys, and I was like, okay. These are the things I really see as really tiny arguments, which basically mean nothing for me. This is my personal opinion. I know that there has been some concerns about the cloud. You have to go online. This is not like always on DRM. This is not the Sims. SimCity. This is not Diablo 3 for any gamers out there. You need to, every now and again, you do need to get on the internet, basically. And everyone is on the internet at least every now and again. I think it's about once every 30 days or once every 3 months. I can't remember exactly how long they said, but it was a reasonable amount. It wasn't like you have to be online all the time. And people were saying, oh, well, if I'm in the desert, I can't use this because I can't get on. Well, you can, as long as you have been on, in a time before that. Maybe you can do into the desert. When you're in the hotel room, before you go to the desert, you just you just open things up and make sure you are connected to the internet, just so it does its thing, and then you can go about it. I think the other thing that it's going to do, they're going to be also updating the software regularly. That's nice. I just like to know what type of updates they're going to be, and how regular they're going to be. I think it's this sort of thing that I'm sort of waiting out to see. If they do keep to their word and they are updating regularly and things, I think this has whole been a massive storm in a teacup over nothing. It's just the way that things are going. I think a lot of people are a little bit nervous about this because it is such a sudden change. It wasn't unexpected. I don't think anyone should really be saying, oh, I was not expecting this, it's such a big surprise. It wasn't. Once when they did the cloud last time, the cloud support, when they released CS6 and you could go on a subscription method, this was the beginning. And really this is where you could see where they were going. They were testing this model, seeing if it worked. And then they did, there was a new filter that they released, which was only for the subscribers, just to see what happened. Would people pick up on it? Would people take it? Would people sort of analyze a bit more? I would just say wait and see. Wait and see what they do. Wait and see how many updates they do. Wait and see how often the updates are and what type of updates they are. If they're just bug fixes and security updates, it's not worth it. If it is actual updates to the programming, to filters, to the interface, then yeah, it might be worth it. If they continue expanding the smart objects, if they continue working on camera raw, which is what I use a lot, for me, then that might be worth it. If they really, really put a lot of work into this and they keep releasing updates, expanding this and making this better, that would be fantastic. But if it's just cosmetic things, it doesn't make any sense. That's really it. So I really hope you've actually enjoyed this video. I think it's been a little bit longer than normal. I'll try and keep them shorter again. And once again, you can catch me on my blog, which is www.aperture64.wordpress.com. I'm on Twitter, which is @aperture64. And I also have a Facebook account, which is facebook.com/aperture64. But this time, 64 is written 64, like in words. Okay, until next week, I hope you have a great week out there photographing stuff. Have a read up about Photoshop CC if you haven't already. And don't forget to leave comments in the comment box below. Until next week, bye-bye.